everybody. We're just turning the recording on now, so I will say welcome again to Bill Monster Jones. And we're very pleased to be recording, actually re-recording a tour of his Monster Kit studio.
Yeah.
So, Bill, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
I got into this monster collection. Fortunately, I grew up in 1957, and I was a monster kid of the 60s. And in the 60s, there was all kinds of monster stuff. There's late night TV show of the old movies, the old 50s
Right.
movies. And there was this magazine that came out called Famous Monsters of Filmland. You get a good shot of that there. Let's see. And this issue had the Aurora plastic models, and they kit bashed them where they made them special. They changed up the poses and everything. And I was, as a kid, reading that magazine. Remember magazines? They had magazines. And in that magazine, they showed the kit bashing or changing of the poses and making your own dioramas. And I thought that was the coolest. So years later, after I found guitar and joined Kathy in the Kilowatts and learned how to play the blues and all that, we had a winter storm, and Kathy got me this Dracula model, and I put it together, and it started the whole craze for me again of putting models together and painting them up, and I just thought it was just the greatest. Then after that, I went to a toy convention, and they had these magazines called the Garage Kit Modelers, it's Kit Builders magazine, and they had all these new monster models that were being sculpted by professionals or kids my age. And I researched all that and found out about all that. It was just wonderful. So it was something fun to do, to play with, art, because I've always been interested in art, and it's always this 50s kind of monster art was always kind of cool, like Rat Paint and, Von Franco,
Right.
all that wild stuff.
That is so cool. And it's great to know that, as an adult, you can revisit childhood favorites. It is kind of, especially right now during COVID, we're finding a lot of people are rediscovering talents and interests that they had put aside years ago to adult. And now it's a different kind of adulting.
Yeah. Now I have a lot more patience for painting as I did when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Learn how to mix colors and all that. But let me continue talking, but let me just show people here, just to give you a quick little idea of what we're talking about. Here's my latest that I'm still working on. It's, let's see if we get Alt in. Let's see. Check that out.
Oh, nice.
That's the Halloween Nightmare Dracula version. So I just finished that up. And you can see Dracula there. He's scaring the bejesus out of this little kid. He's breaking through the fence, and there goes his Halloween candy, and the cat's even scared here. So there he is.
That is so cool.
Thank you. Okay, let me get back to me. Let's see. All right, here I am. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what these things are and what they're made of.
So when you buy these kits, it is the model, but it's unpainted?
Right, correct. They're unpainted, and they're cast in this urethane resin, and they're put into these silicone molds. And these silicone molds, when you put the resin in there, it creates heat. And the molds do fatigue and they wear out. So you get about 50 or 60 pulls out of some of these molds. So they're very low numbers. So they're kind of boutique items. But thanks to the internet, you can find the people that make these things and then order them from them and be engaged in this hobby. It's just wonderful.
How cool. And of course, you desire the lower the number, the fresher it is from the mold. So that would be the more detailed item.
Right. So if you get like a first or second casting, you know, it's while it's minute, you still get more detail out of those castings.
Uh-huh. And so those are kind of the holy grail, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I've been doing this for about 20 years, so I've really got into it. So it's just such a lot of fun, you know, when I'm not playing guitar and playing blues and rocking out.
Right. Now, I know you will show us as we go along, but you're also an award winning artist in this particular medium.
I have won a few. That's really nice. You know, I've been to some of the shows and around the country and entered my stuff in the shows. And as you can see, there's this that one there. I won that one, and several other awards. And it was real nice to win those. It's good to get recognition by fellow artists that
Absolutely.
you're on the right path.
Yep. Well, what's next? You want to show us around?
We're going to start the tour. We're going to do the tour.
Sure.
So welcome to Monster Jones Studios. And I'm going to start off. You know, a lot of the movie posters were impetus for a lot of these things. And I got this really cool poster. Let me show it to you here. I think it's very cool. Horrifying, blood-curdling spook show. It will scare the yell out of you. Now showing at Monster Jones Theater. And I got a friend in Dallas, Jim Zippo, the Zip Man, that put my custom stuff on there. I really appreciate him doing that.
Oh, nice.
Welcome to the Spook Show. Let's get it going here. All right. One of the favorite images is the 50-foot woman, Attack of the 50-foot woman. Let me kind of get this here. But you can see that poster was done by a poster artist named Reynolds Brown, and he did a lot of the 50s monster movie poster art. And he had a way with drawing little people running and fleeing in danger. You can see that there. Really good. And this model kit here, kind of based on some of that poster. And as you can see here, I customized a little bit by putting the Continental Club.
Oh, nice.
Where she found her husband, cheating husband, grabbed his car. It was cool. The leopard print on the inside.
Nice.
Found him. She was on her way to get her cheating husband, but she ran into some aliens who zapped her with the ray gun and made her 50 feet. She had a little advantage there. So I thought that was way cool. And I put it next to this poster here because it kind of shows her. Here we have Nosferatu, which is, well, these two guys go together. The two vampires, Nosferatu on the right, and Bela Lugosi's Dracula on the left here. Nosferatu was a silent film, and Dracula, who all knows, in the 30s. Dracula was a real popular movie in the 30s because it kind of represented a lot of the feelings of the 30s and people surviving the plague. It's kind of like what we're surviving now, the plague. Uh-huh. Dracula would bite you and you'd be a victim of the vampire. This one was sculpted by one of my favorite sculptors named Jeff Yeager, who he was an actor in Hollywood, and he sculpts a lot of these great monster movies. He used to date Sandra Bullock back in the days, which is fellow Austinite, you know. Down here we have Frankenstein, and I put this cool little. There you go.
I love that.
Yeah. More Frankenstein. And he's got a skull there. He puts used skulls that are not being used. And here is the son of Frankenstein, which featured, of course, Boris Karloff as the monster and Bela Lugosi as Igor. So you can see kind of that likeness that shows up here. It really looks like Bela Lugosi there with Karloff.
Uh-huh.
And here's the son of Frankenstein.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. All righty. Getting on to the monster bust. Here's a bust here. A great 50s movie called This Island Earth. And this is the Metaluna Mutant. That was a really cool 50s monster. Kind of as a precursor to the Mars Attacks guys that we know.
Right.
Curse of the Werewolf. He's got his female victim there. And of course, Godzilla. You know, Godzilla went through many forms during the movies. This is from the 50s, the first Godzilla movie. I thought it was just a really cool image of Godzilla munching this train. It's very different.
Right.
And I love the white eyes with the kind of mindless, crazy monster. All righty. This one is a 60s movie called Valley of the Gwangi. And Gwangi is this dinosaur here. And the cowboys went into this forbidden valley and captured Gwangi and brought him to the circus. And of course, didn't work out so well for everybody. Of course, the dinosaur got loose and raised havoc.
So, Bill, some of these, do they come with the dioramas, or are these things that you create?
That's what I've created. I created the base on this.
Okay.
I used styrofoam and Bondo, like, Bondo you put on a car, and then painted over that. So it really adds like a kind of really rock formations you can add to that. And I had the little cowboy figures and the girl figure. And on this guy, I had to do some dentistry with my drills and replace the teeth with toothpicks, believe it or not. So
Quite effective.
Yeah, it was. And this is the scene from the film where the Gwangi almost gets the girl and the cowboy rescues at the last second. So that's a really cool kind of obscure 60s film. Back to 50s films, The Monolith Monsters was about these crystals that came from outer space, and they sucked up all the silica in the soil, and they grow to these enormous heights. They crash down on the buildings. And then in the pieces would themselves grow into giant crystals. So it was a towering thing that just kept on moving. So I thought that was a pretty
Never even heard of them before.
Yeah, it's a really cool premise, and the sheriff, blows up the dam and the seawater dissolves the crystals. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. All right, get your popcorn ready for this one. This is The Fly.
Ah, yes.
If I can remove it. Help me. Get stuck in there. It kind of looks like Mike Pence, doesn't it? A little bit there.
Yes, in fact.
Yes.
Same haircut, at least.
Yeah, that's right. This one here, I did the custom diorama on I was a teenage werewolf. And I put popcorn, a spilled popcorn container, and if I can get in a little bit easier, closer on that. Michael Landon played the teenage werewolf.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
Yeah, it is a classic. He had anger issues. They took him to a doctor, and the doctor turned him into a werewolf. Thanks a lot. Here's another award. It's called the Bob Burns Award. Won that in Las Vegas. There he is. Bob Burns was an interesting character in monster lore. He collects all the props that they threw away. And I met him at some of these model shows. And this one right here, I met him in Las Vegas. And he was just a great guy. He knew all the little monster details about all these great 50s B movies that we love. And that was just a wonderful experience. All right, here we go. Godzilla against Mothra, also known as Godzilla versus the Thing. So Mothra is pulling Godzilla away from her egg, and Godzilla is resisting. I thought that was kind of cool. Mothra has a cool wing pattern there. Rat Fink.
Uh-huh.
You remember when Tales from the Rat Fink came out, that film? They showed it at the Continental Club. They had the band that played on the soundtrack they play there.
Uh-huh.
And I got have him in auto primer. I'm going to paint him up. It's Big Daddy Roth. His answer to Mickey Mouse. He hated Mickey Mouse, so he created Rat Fink.
We actually have a couple of Rat Finks at the Continental Club, and one is drawn on the wall, and one is part of a mural that Von Franco did for us, the California custom culture artist. And
Yeah.
he is licensed to do both Ratfink and the Flying Eyeball from Von Dutch.
Well, I invited him to show. I hope he shows up today.
Oh, that would be lovely. I haven't seen him in forever.
He's on Facebook, so I gave him the invite. Here's the Incredible Shrinking Man. This is a great scene where he gets the nail, fends off this tarantula trying to get him. Isn't that cool? Another 50s classic, War of the Colossal Beast. And you can see the people trying to exit the bus.
Oh gosh, yes.
And here's I don't know if you can see the poster, War of the Colossal Beast poster. And on the poster is that image by Reynolds Brown, like my favorite artist there. See people falling off, and the sculptor captured that perfectly, you know?
That's
So I thought
awesome.
that was real cool. So having a 2D image to a 3D image, you know?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I keep my posters kind of behind some of my works. It's the Angry Red Planet. And then the Angry Red Planet, here we have the Bat Rat Spider Crab, which is a monster with the identity complex, always said. Bat, rat, and a spider crab. On this one, I put glass eyes in him. See that there? And some drool in his mouth. The crazy creature. Here's the guys on Mars trying to hide from him, see? Alrighty. Stand up. And here's the big three. Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman. All sculpted by my favorite sculptor, Jeff Yeager.
Terrific.
Some of the detail on those characters. Wolfman was so misunderstood. You know, he never asked for it. Neither did Frankenstein. And Bela Lugosi as Dracula. I kind of gave him a pale blue, devoid of blood look with a green, kind of a different little look there.
Now, some of these models are actually modeled from the actor that portrayed that role.
That's correct. Like this Frankenstein is not Boris Karloff. It's Glenn Strange, who also played in Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein.
Ah.
And there's a autograph I got from him, Glenn Strange with Bud Abbott. So that gentleman played this one here. The same goes for, so you can see some of my movie posters here. Curse of the Werewolf, you know.
Uh-huh.
That image turned into one of the ones we saw earlier. It was this one here. So they get ideas for poses from the movie posters and such.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Here's one of my favorites I had out last time. Since Halloween was here, I'm a big Halloween fan. This is like a 60s diorama with kids from the 60s dressed up as Halloween, trick-or-treating around, and some of the monsters are coming after them. And these monsters were based on some rubber masks that you could order in the back of that magazine I showed you, Famous Monsters. You could order
Oh, yes.
And for a couple of bucks, you could get these crazy things and scare your parents. But the sculptor said, man, I'm going to pose those like the monsters going after the 60s kids. You know, here he is trying to eat a Snickers. He's got the shock monster coming after him. This kid has the blob coming after him because he stepped in it.
Oh, yes.
His poor dad is already blobified, being absorbed. But that was kind of cool. Whoa. Just had to rescue something. It didn't fall. All right. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. One of the coolest scenes in The Creature was this, I call it water ballet, where she's swimming on top, unbeknownst to her, is the creature swimming below her. And the way the movie has it, it's just a real cool scene of them swimming together. It's kind of like a ballet, you know, they're doing. That's when he really kind of falls in love with her.
Uh-huh.
So this is a diorama that I put together. It wasn't really a model. I reposed the creature and reposed the girl that was a different model, and kind of put her on this plane of plexiglass here. And you can see the plexiglass. I put this background. I took that to this model show and did pretty good with this one.
How inventive.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I met the guy who played the creature from that movie, Riku Browning. He really dug it.
Now, you said that you repositioned them, but they're resin, correct?
This one is actually made out of vinyl, and I can repose resin as well. And that's where I kind of come in, where I can put the arms and the legs where I want them. Cut them up with a Dremel drill, and reposition where I want, and then put putty in between, and I use a texture stamp that I make from another part of the model to recreate the texture of the scales there, and it really blends in. You really can't even tell where I changed up the pose there.
I love that.
And it's so much fun doing that, because you're sitting out somewhere and you go, hey, what if I took this and made it look like he's swimming there?
Uh-huh.
Here's a 60s movie called King Kong versus Godzilla. And it's a funny thing about King Kong here. He's on this island, and they have this berry juice you can see there. And it's an intoxicant. King Kong loves that berry juice, and so does the octopus. So they're kind of struggling over who gets control of the berry juice. It's kind of a cool premise for a monster movie. And down here, same movie, King Kong versus Godzilla. I thought this was really incredible. Called The Big Swing.
Damn.
Yeah, King Kong in this movie, he gets energy from lightning. So he gets hit by some lightning when he's battling Godzilla, and he gets super strength, and he tosses him away like that. So that was kind of cool. I didn't repose that. It came that way. So I just thought that was just the coolest. But I did put fur on him.
Look at the size of those feet on Godzilla.
That's right. Big feet.
And then you put the fur, you said you put the fur on King Kong?
Yeah, I used this, they make strands of doll hair, and I kind of cut them up into like lengths of 2-day stubble. And I put this white glue that dries clear. It's called Mod Podge.
Uh-huh.
And I put the Mod Podge glue, white, it's like white pasty glue, all over Kong, and then sprinkled the fur all over him. But I added some, gray fur, brown fur, and some black fur, so it has little variants. And used a toothbrush to brush the excess away.
Wow.
So it adds a little different dimension of depth and detail.
Right.
Like here's Godzilla versus Kong, but he doesn't have the fur there. You sort of see that just sculpted in. That's for Godzilla's enacting his revenge for that. Same movie. At the very end, they're fighting right between the castle, and the castle gets completely demolished. I always thought that was cool. And this one is I kit bashed or reposed these characters into this pose, and as you can see, I created this little damage there on the castle where it's starting to fall apart between these two giants.
Uh-huh.
Slugging it out.
Bill, we do have a question from Terry.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
he wants to know, on the Metaluna monster, how did you get the colors based on the movie?
You watch the movie and you press pause and do the best you can, I've run back and forth many times and said, wow. And actually, they have a few color pictures of the Metaluna mutant. So I had some good reference material. That's what a lot of this is based on, reference material.
Uh-huh.
You can get on the internet. It's so beautiful.
So it's a lot of color mixing involved.
Yeah. And I kind of learned how to mix colors when building these things. So it's kind of nice. I found out, if you have red and you want to make it darker, you can add black, but you can also add green to red, the opposite color, and
Correct.
it will work in red.
Correct.
Isn't that cool?
Yep.
So you can get little variances that way. And then when you're doing shading, like shading on the clothing, you can have a light color and just come up with a little bit darker variants like that, just adding opposite colors. There's Godzilla breaking through the iceberg there. The submarine smashing into the iceberg. Godzilla. Alrighty. You can see my Ray Harryhausen. Some of you may know Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Ray Harryhausen did a lot of stop motion animation in the 60s. And this is one of Ray Harryhausen's films. It's called It Came Beneath the Sea, if you can read that. But anyway, this giant octopus comes up to San Francisco and wreaks all kinds of havoc. This character, I don't know if you see, he's got glass eyes. I put glass eyes in it. That looks a lot cooler than just painting them. Adds a lot more depth.
Yes, I love the glass eyes.
And even on this one, there's a little, you can see the guy hanging off the boxcar there, hanging on for dear life. All right. Moving along. Another creature from the Black Lagoon. This was never happened in a film, but it was like a what if. Since he lives in the Black Lagoon with all these Devonian age reptiles, this is another reptile from that age that might jump up and try to get the creature, catch him off guard. There's one of our favorites, Herman Munster, who's been to the Continental Club, thanks to Casper Rawls and his Halloween shows. I brought Herman. He was a big hit.
Right.
And of course, Grandpa Munster. Oyman, you big dummy. I just thought that's great. This Herman is a 1-to-1 scale, life-size scale. Always thought that was really cool. I do have a couple of modern day monsters. They're not all 50s and 60s and 30s and 40s. This is Alien versus Predator. This is a cool Japanese monster. Japanese skull. You can sort of see there.
Were Japanese monsters kind of the cream of the crop?
Yeah, well, for Godzilla, they sure was.
Uh-huh.
But the people in Japan started sculpting these American. This is an American subject, and they sure sculpted these things. And I think that the sculptors in Japan are just over the top good. I mean, you know,
the detail is amazing.
Right. Because when I was a kid, you know, you could only get what you could get. They only had a couple of monster models. And this thing, that's why I'm saying, now they put so much detail into these things. You know, you can see all the ridges and stuff that I did dry brush, make it pop out. And on this one, I added some flames and some lighting on. Here's Frankenstein at the mill.
Perfect.
At the end of the movie Frankenstein, they burned down the mill, so I kind of put a little thing like he's trying to fight that, but he doesn't. But he survives, as they all do. Here's another Ray Harryhausen movie, The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, where he battles Kali, six-armed deity.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really cool stop motion, man. There's another stop motion Ray Harryhausen creature, Medusa in Clash of the Titans. That Medusa coming at you there. She looks at you, you turn to stone. That's what happened to that poor soldier there.
Right.
That was fun, painting all her snakes. All that kind of stuff. A lot of fun. Of course, Ray Harryhausen, one of my favorite Ray Harryhausen movies is the Jason and the Argonauts, where the voyage for the Golden Fleece. See the Golden Fleece in there. He's trying to capture that Golden Fleece, but he has to go through the seven-headed dragon, which is battling one head at a time. And I had a friend in San Marcos who was a sculptor, sculpted that for me. So that was this Jason.
Oh, wow.
So that's a one-off, you know, there's maybe one or two of those around. So that was kind of nice when you get sculptors to do custom work for you.
Right.
Another Ray Harryhausen, the Emir from 20 Million Miles to Earth. And he's in Rome. And this monster just keeps growing and growing. He came back from Venus. It just keeps growing and growing. Here's me with Ray Harryhausen. I met him at one of these model shows. That was quite nice to meet someone you really respect and love their work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jason and the Argonauts, once again, he meets this metal guy, Talos. Let's see if I can better look on Talos there. Yeah, they're trying to escape, but Talos won't let them. He's got the harbor blocked off. And I scratch built this Argonauts ship with little details on it.
With the tiny little figures.
Yeah, that you can get for model trains and stuff, you know. If I go on
of course,
I can find model trains, and I've used toothpicks for the oars, and you know, you can get some of the get a better look there. But they're looking up and they're going, "Oh my God, he's going to get us." And he sure does. He gets them all. Oh, here's one. It's Coop, which is an artist, a very famous artist that likes lowbrow art like I like.
Right.
This is actually a painting, but the 3D rendering. I changed it up a bit and I gave Frankenstein a Monster Jones t-shirt. So anyway, I can throw my own stuff on it. I'll do that. Customize it just a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I had a little sticker and I just cut it out and it fit perfectly on this t-shirt. Because I have some t-shirts like that. They're very nice. All right. Curse of the Werewolf, great 60s Wolfman movie out of England. You know, these were in color. Boy, seeing these were really cool. And here's the Curse of the Werewolf. Our friend Mark Van Tine sculpted that one. Really nice.
And he's another one that you put hair on?
No, I didn't put hair. That's just painted on there.
Wow. That is so cool.
And there's a 1-to-1 scale bust, like a life-size head bust there. I'll give you a quick look over the side of some of this poster arts from the 50s, these lobby cards, which were just 11 by 17 cards. Instead of the full posters, they put these in the theater lobbies.
I've always loved how colorful they were.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really attracted me to the whole monster thing is they, you know, each, as you can see on the borders, they got the lettering and everything was like the movie was, you know, they all had a theme.
Right.
Which were based on the one sheet poster. So I always thought that was cool. And I've collected these over the years and so much fun. Keep that going. All righty. Making my way around here. Or 50s monster. Oh, here's the Wasp Woman here. Wasp Woman was in the 50s. It was a story about this woman who had this cosmetics supplies. And the scientist brought this cosmetics that make women younger, but it had one bad reaction. It turned them into the Wasp Woman. But she took it anyway because she wanted to be young. So there she is.
And have a tiny waist.
Yeah, no kidding. A real tiny waist. Tiny thorax there. You can see a pile of skulls there. And that's based on that lobby card there, which is kind of cool. I thought that was really neat. Monsters from the 50s were always cooler, I thought, because they're pretty whacked out.
Right.
Here's where I do everything. Here's something in progress I'm working on here. It's The Thing with James R. Ness, 1951, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Where he's part plant. And he drinks blood, of course. So he sustains on, really nice. And I use like acrylic paints and tons of brushes and all kinds of doodads and gobs and goops. Oh, there's our Halloween 45, Caffeine Kilowatts. And here's a Michael Landon as the werewolf. I've been working on this guy, just kind of trying to get his eyes just right. This is a 1-to-1 scale, so this is life size here. Jeff Yeager did that one too. Look at that.
Those teeth.
Amazing. And I believe that was 1957 too. Great year
Mhm.
for monsters. Okay. You may remember a Lost in Space TV show. There's a gentleman, Ron Gross, that does some of these Lost in Space tributes. Really nice. I thought that was really cool art.
Terry wants to know, where do you get the glass eyes?
Taxidermy places have them. So I go online to these taxidermy shops and try to measure in millimeters the size of the eyes. So I have a whole stash. They're only $3 or $4, so just a whole stash of. Here's the guy that played the creature from the Black Lagoon, and I was fortunate to get his autograph. That was pretty cool. And another Famous Monsters magazine. That glare off there. It's really cool art of that Curse the Werewolf there. Here's a life size of the creature from the Black Lagoon. I got this right over my thing. I put glass eyes in this one too.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's scary.
Isn't
That's
it? Keeps the
that's
prowlers
one of
away.
the things that those glass eyes lend, is that kind of, could be real.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's Devonian age amphibian species.
Anna says those sculptures bring up some great memories from watching these movies.
Yeah, that's what I still like to do. It. Pop up some popcorn and do my job of staying home.
Right. And she also said, I wonder what the comparison in time to produce a stop motion is to a CG.
Stop motion takes a lot more. This whole scene
I would think.
of this Hydra stop motion, Ray Harryhausen said that took him months just for like a little 7-minute segment.
Uh-huh.
It took him months, to animate each head
Right.
independently.
You also have a message that say, kids say, good job, Uncle Bill.
Oh, hi kids. Wish you were here. Here's another Ray Harryhausen movie, which when I saw in the 60s, it came out in 1957, great year. Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, which really, I got it autographed by Ray Harryhausen. Great movie with all these characters like the Cyclops,
Right.
who fights Sinbad. That's a 1-to-1 scale. And here's a diorama I put together here. Sinbad fighting the Cyclops with spear and such. And behind him is the dragon. Was a really cool movie dragon. It was like one of the first like green dragons that breathed fire, and it was just done so well. It had such personality from that stop motion. Here's my one of my Bob Burns awards. And here is Bob Burns here. He was a friend to a special effects creator, Paul Blaisdell, who helped create the Saucermen, the invasion of the Saucermen, the 50s movie, and also created It Conquered the World, which is big carrot monsters. Bob Burns was there, and he autographed those for me. There's another lobby card, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Godzilla.
I love that.
Isn't that cool? It's. I love these wall busts that you can put on the wall. And I said, man, if I have them busting out of this poster, that would kind of go with everything else I got going here.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really neat. That's made by Blackheart out of Minnesota. Good stuff, good folks. I think Joe Simon's going through that one.
What
So
a
anyway,
great effect that is.
Let me move the stuff out of the way. All this stuff originally started with, in the 60s, it came out, Aurora Corporation came out with these models here. And that's what started the whole monster model craze. They made a Frankenstein, and it was so popular with kids. They had that factory going 24/7 with several machines pumping out these plastic models. So subsequently, they made the Wolfman and Dracula, and then the Creature and the Phantom and the Mummy. And, of course, for little kids looking at when I was my age, 7 or 8, looking at these things, it's the box art that really grabs your attention,
Uh-huh.
So this poster, James Bama, who was the box artist, is kind of getting his due here on this poster for the box art for all those things, because of course you put the models together, they don't look like the box art, but they look kind of close, like Dracula there. That's the one that Kathy bought me during a snowstorm, and I put pins in for fangs. You know, Bela never showed his fangs in the movies. Here's another one I furred up. Wolfman. Put fur on him. Creature from the Black Lagoon, of course, he's a big favorite around here. King Kong, I furred him up as well. Really nice. And Frankenstein, the original one. So I keep those to remind me. That's where it all started. That it all came to fruition later. Here's some bulb-headed monsters here. The Metal and Mutant once again from this island Earth. And of course, Mars Attacks.
Yep.
And in the back here is, you know, Mars Attacks originally was a baseball card set that you get these they were crazy Mars Attacks, and the kids loved them because they had blood all over the place, and moms hated them. So the moms wrote to Nabisco or Topps Corporation and said, "Hey, you got to stop making these things." So it became kind of an underground desirable thing. So I found this plaque that looked like the wrapper for one of these cards, and here in Austin at Co-op Radio, Len Brown, who created Mars Attacks, was a DJ. So I went over there and said, "Hey, you know, you did these great cards, and I love those things." So he autographed that. Thing's very nice. The cards are really cool. Godzilla once again from the original Godzilla. These folks are climbing up a mountain. Godzilla pops on the other side, and it's pretty scary. King Kong from 1933. I love that film, so good. Like with a lot of these monster guys that, you know, the monster has you feel sorry for him, you know, because King Kong didn't ask for that. He was just minding his own business, and they took him away. I put glass eyes in him. Really cool. Here's some folks that you can get running and scared. The scared populace. Here's another one from Coop. Space Girl. And the 3D rendition of the sculpture of that. I kind of do the customization. I put a Starbucks logo on the coffee guy here. He's offering her a cup of coffee. You can see one tentacle. Got a pot of coffee and the coffee cup. Trying to win her favor. There she is posing against that cool 50s spaceship.
And she's such a lovely shade of green.
I know, don't you love that? That's a favorite piece. Of course, another creature which is based on the box art from the Aurora models here. That looks more like the box art here.
Right.
You can sort of see here. This. So I got a whole Jeff Yeager, my favorite sculptor, did a lot of these box art models, and he's doing a great job. Here's another one out of Japan called the She Creature, which was a great 50s monster from Paul Blaisdell. This guy here did the She Creature as well. He had to make all these things on the cheap. There's like a scuba suit with block foams of foam rubber put on there, and he whittled out these hooks and claws and made a really cool 50s monster there. I thought She Creature was really cool looking. Of course, I made a little custom base for the She Creature here. There's more Creature from the Black Lagoon. I'm a huge Creature fan. Where he's coming after Julie Adams. There's a gentleman in Texas sculpted her, Bruce Turner. Really cool. And there's the creature swimming. The swimming creature was a different actor. His name's Riku Browning did all the swimming. I met him. He was real cool. Let's see. Watch my light. Another swimming creature. And here's a styrene kit made out of like, model car plastic that you could get. It's called the creature.
Uh-huh.
Holding the girl in the thing. Okay, so we go down. Here's Godzilla, more modern 1990s Godzilla, where he's fighting this three-headed dragon here, King Ghidorah. You can see, got him all wrapped around. It's based on the poster art from this film. But I made, destroyed buildings, all this stuff on the base. Missing a couple spikes from the cleaning the darn thing. Won a few awards with that one. Let's see over there. Awards. Another creature from the Black Lagoon. Another Jeff Yeager piece of the creature. There's a scene where they throw a lantern on him to get rid of him, and he bursts into flames, so he has to jump back in the water. Poor creature. They're always down on him.
They're so mean to monsters.
The way they want that, they make the monsters.
Right. There's a morality story in almost all of these.
Exactly. Here's a cool grade Z movie called The Horror Party Beach, where it's got teenagers dancing and it's got a surf band. I think the Bel Airs and the Horror Party Beach, girls in bikinis. And they throw this nuclear waste in the river, and of course it gets on a skull there. The nuclear waste and skulls turn into this guy. So there's a bunch of them. Pretty cool. Look at those weird teeth coming out of there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Here's a glass eye that I used. It's from a movie called It Came from Outer Space, which is a really great film. Aliens coming and they take over human bodies. And this is what they really look like when they're not humans. Of course, they got Godzilla butted up right next to him. It's a more modern Godzilla. All right. Whoa. Let's see. Am I still with you here?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We've still got you.
Okay. Well, I kind of lost. Let me click on my thing here. Okay. Yeah, I'm cool. More posters. Lobby cards. Don't you love that? The robot monster. I mean, how cool is that? The giant claw to their 50s thing. I mean, the poster art is better than the movie, let's face it. I was a teenage Frankenstein with a Whit Bissell autograph. He was in a lot of these things. He was in The Creature and Frankenstein and Teenage Werewolf as well. Giant leeches. Cool Louisiana movie with a giant leeches that grab you up and suck your blood and just keep you alive enough so you can make more blood. I Married a Monster from Outer Space. True story there. Sorry, Kathy. Monster on Campus. Another great.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Isn't it great? And it's another Reynolds Brown artist. I really like the way he draws people running in chairs. So cool. Godzilla with the train. We saw a model of that earlier. The she creature, we just saw her. And down here, I kind of put some black lights here, so more Reynolds Brown stuff for people running.
Oh, wow.
Now look at that life-size poster. For my black light collection here. Well, I got a black light on Godzilla and the Saucer Men. Invasion of the Saucer Men here. And they're life-size. They've been at the Continental Club.
Yep.
And they were a big hit. Kind of see them. I painted them with fluorescent paint, glow-in-the-dark paint, so they would glow. He's got that big can opener there to use to free up his buddy. When he freed up his buddy, the hand came off, so here's the hand with the eyeball on it. So the hand's kind of, the cool scene in this movie is this hand winds up in the back seat of the Lovers, and it's crawling up the back, and it's reaching over the top, and it's on the girl's shoulder, and this eyeball goes, ah! So I thought that was, they included this with these models, and I thought that was a great addition. So anyway, Where am I here? Yeah, there I am.
Those are
That's Monster
so
Jones.
awesome, Bill.
And if you like what you're seeing and you want to see more, you can always go to monsterjones.com, and I've got 5 times as many things. This is just what I've kept. I've sold a lot of pieces and bought cool guitars and accordions and all kinds of stuff. So fun. It's a fun hobby. It keeps me going, especially COVID times, man. I got plenty of work and people are sending me stuff. So if you like this kind of stuff, hit me up, and we'll work something out. Get you a collection going too.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you being willing to do this a second time. Since we did the last one and it was fabulous and I forgot to hit record.
Hey, during these times, everybody's off the hook for anything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I did the same thing on Wednesday with Carol in Wonderland, except I was trying to shut off somebody else's video.
Yeah.
And I thought that if I selected turn off video, it would turn off his video. What it did was it turned off the recording video. So I learned something, but we only have 17 minutes of an hour-long interview with Carolyn.
Oh gosh, that might be grounds for a redo.
Maybe that one over again too. Who knows?
Hey, these days, we can barely keep our minds straight. So anything.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Everybody's forgiven for a lot of things.
Yep.
It's tough times, and we're just trying to keep it fun, right?
Right. So let me give a little plug here. If you would like to make donations to Bill, you can do it at www.paypal.me/monsterjones. And you can always visit Bill at it's http monsterjones.com. And if you would like to support the shows, there's a Venmo and PayPal link there. And then we have several ways you can help out the Continental Club, Gallery, and Seaboys employees by donating to our tip jar and by visiting our merch page. 100% of the profits of any merch sales are going to the employees, and 100% of the tip jar goes to employees.
That's good cause.
We also have James McMurtry has donated 100% of his EP Blasted from the Past, which you can find on Bandcamp. Steve Shook, a great artist from Washington, D.C., who's also a musician. He's doing a print of the Continental Club, and we get 20% of each sale of that. And you can find that at Steve Shook Inc., INK. Patty Griffin is doing live streams that we will receive a portion of, and they are being recorded live at the Continental Club, but they are live streams. Don't show up and expect to get in. And John Doe also is launching a 3-show live stream event from Seaboys on the 19th of this month. And he's also going to do one from Arlen Studios and another one from Cactus Cafe. So, and those are all benefiting us in part as well.
Good.
So we are very thankful for all of the help from everybody. And Terry says, great stuff, Bill. And Anna says, thanks for the tour, Bill. And Dixie says, too cool, Bill. Thanks for the do-over, Diane. You're very welcome. I'm glad to do it. This is fabulous. Thank you so much, Bill.
My pleasure. It's so much fun. You got to look for it when you find it.
Yep. Well, thanks again, everybody. And I'll be back next Wednesday where I'm doing a live stream interview with Ryan Bingham.
All right. Thanks for.
And we're going to be looking forward to that. So thanks, y'all. Take care.
Okay. Bye. Thanks for having me, Diane.
Bye.
Bye.